Hey guys, Z.A.K here, showing you guys what we use for lipos in all of our cars. So, yeah, let's get started. We're gonna go from left to right, and here's my homemade battery I made out of dead Venom 3-cell lipo. One of the battery cells were dead, so we just cut her open, took out two of the cells, wired them together, and made this 2-cell lipo. This is a 5400 2S, and I made it about a year ago, and it works pretty good. And I made a second one that was 5,000 milliamps out of another 3S lipo, and that thing's terminals fell off, and it's sitting up there where my dead lipos are. There's about 20 up there. So yeah, then we got the Gen Z, which we have had for about a year or two. And I just got to tell you guys, these batteries are okay if you buy in the newer ones, like the new black kind of themed ones, but these old Gen Z ones, they're not that great. This was my brother's, and yeah, this is like the third balance cord I've went through. And the ones with the terminals coming out of the battery on a stick pack just aren't the best, especially on the Gen Z. I had to all this duct tape here, so when I had to cut open the front, take it off, and repair the bullet plug because that fell out, and especially the balance plug. There is no bullet for the balance plug anymore because I cut it open and direct wired this wire, and then I wired it from there, so there's no more bullet in there. So yeah, these Gen Z batteries, their terminals are crap on the old ones, so don't get them. But for getting a battery, I guess I got a sliver. But if you get a battery like these Zippies here with the terminals that are just coming straight out from the battery, you're good. But these ones aren't that great. But unless if you have a ton of other connectors you're going to swap, or if you just want to direct connect them like I do with these batteries, then sure, go ahead. But beware, it's just going to break. I'd just get a Turnkey if I were you, if you're thinking about one with terminals coming out for a decent price. So it's with that. Then we got these two here. These are what I used to run for 4-cell in my e-boogie, my OFNA, and now it's running a 3-cell lipo, which I left in there on accident, which was the same as these but 3-cell, same exact stats and everything. But yeah, this is a Zippy 5000 mAh 20C 2S lipo, and they work amazing. And this one is my brother's, and it's lasted for about 2 years. It's still going, just like all the rest of the batteries I have on the table. Otherwise, if they're not still going, I just throw them on my rafters up there and just dispose of them later on. So the balance plug ripped off accidentally in my off, and I got caught up in the gears, so I had to solder on a different one, and it works great. All I gotta say is that I've never had any problems with my Zippy packs, besides my 3S one that's in my OFNA down there, because one of the terminals melted and I had to resolder it and cut it open, and it works again. So Zippies are pretty great. Even if they break, you can repair them easily. So yeah, that's with that one. But the only problem I had with the Zippies is I don't know what's wrong with this one, but it melted a hole and you can see the cells in there. I'm not even going to use it or charge it because it could start a fire. You can see the individual paper-like things inside the cell. That's dangerous, so I'm not even going to touch it, and it's really just unsafe. I used to run 4S with these two, but I don't anymore because of the hole. So yeah, that one's going on the shelf up in the rafters. So this is what I use a lot of the time. This is a 30C 5000, just like the others, but it's 30C. And I put a Traxxas plug. So yeah, and the warranty's basically ripped off the bottom or the side or wherever they put it. But yeah, that's that one. Now we're gonna go and finish up the rest of the car batteries. So this is my Turnkey Nanotech 4.2 65 to 130C discharge lipo pack, 7.4 volts, and this is a great lipo if you want a lot of speed, if you're racing stock class or mod class. Lightweight because it's shorty, and 65 to 130C discharge. You're gonna get a lot of amp draw out of this. It's gonna be a great battery. And I basically, what I do is, this is just my charge lead on here, so I can just pop this off and then throw it into my B4 or my 22 when I'm at the track, and just race it, you know. So the bad thing about this battery is, as you can see, is I have iron grip tape, which is what I recommend instead of Gorilla tape, because I've had both and that works better. So anyway, I had iron grip around here because I have a crack right here. It's a little hairline crack right by the terminal. So I just did that, and it's been wiggling out like the terminal, as you can see, that is just higher than the other one because the female plug is starting to pull out. So yeah, I don't know how it's not desoldering yet, but it's staying in one piece, which is great. The only bad thing is the plastics are cheap, but the lipo cells are A grade. They're awesome. But all I'd have to say is wrap your batteries with tape, like book tape, Gorilla tape, iron grip, duct tape, whatever you have laying around, because it will break. And I've already done it to these ones, which haven't broke yet, but I know they will at one point, like this one did, because same problem will happen again. So great battery. I don't even care if the plastic's bad. I can just replace it if it's bad, kind of like my Zippies and the Venom that I have down there. I just made it into a new battery. So yeah, I definitely recommend these. $20, great battery, better than buying Reedies for a ton of more money, and they have a lot more milliamps. So yeah, now these are my saddle packs that I run. They're 5.0s. They're 30 to 60 C discharge from Turnigy, and they're awesome. They got 3 cells in each, wired in parallel, and yeah, there's something really bad to say about these. They haven't cracked or anything. I like how they designed the bullets to be a little bit lower profile, so then it's not as tall sticking out of the battery. And these are also just my charge leads on here. So yeah, I also have the iron grip on it. I also have the warranty or the roar proof sticker under it, so it's roar proofed. Great for running stock or mod class, but mostly mod class because this is going to weigh more. And say the 22 if I ran it mod, and if I ran it stock, it would weigh a little bit more. So if you're running mod class, definitely for the 22, get the 5.0s saddles, because it's a little heavier and they'll give you more side bite. You know how they add like the weights on the sides of the chassis? This will also help with that, because then you put this in there, then there's gaps in between. But if you're running it in like a B4, either of these would work, but it just depends on your track conditions, or if your class needs a lighter or a higher weight. So yeah, so now those are all the batteries that are in my cars, except for my micros. So yeah, let's get into these. So these are my brother's plane batteries, which I will just go through this one first. This is an E-Flight 3S 11.1 volt, 1800 milliamp, 20 watt hour, 3S LiPo. That is a mouthful. And yeah, it's 20 C discharge, which isn't a lot. It's kind of like those Zippies, not the best. And 36 amp draw. So yeah, it's a pretty good battery. He's had it for a while. I think he said he's getting old, and it's not even puffing yet, but this one is, and they're about the same age. So yeah, he's gonna change to Turnigy's like he already had, but I don't know where he put the Turnigy's, so I can't really film those. But yeah, the E-Flight battery, it's pretty great. $36. On Hobby King you could get some Turnigy's for like $10. Way better deal than these, but can't complain. They haven't broke yet. They're just wearing out. So I'd say if you're running a plane and it's not year-round because of winter like we have, I just go cheap on the batteries because they're going to go bad if you don't put them into storage. But now we have some nice storage chargers over there, and yeah, they work great. So it's one plane battery, same thing, but it's a 30C discharge and it's bloated. So yeah, another E-Flight battery. This is the one that came with this Corsair. So yeah, there you go. Now these two I used to run in my E-Revo, which I sold my E-Revo 1/16th, but yeah, these are Turnigy 2.2, 25 to 35 C discharge 2S batteries. So yeah, they still got the codes and stuff on them because I barely use them. I also use them in my Animus once in a while, but yeah, that's what they are. They're both the same. I had them for about a year and they're still doing good. They're just scuffed up because of my Animus gearbox being pressed against the battery because of the limited battery storage space in it. So now here's what we use in the Andromeda. Just the basic stock Andromeda batteries. They're crap. They're bloated. They don't hold the charge anymore for some reason. Batteries like this just are frustrating. They just lasted for such a short period of time and they didn't have a very long lifespan. So I'm going to be switching to Turnigy's for these Andromeda batteries and throwing these in the garbage or on the rafters like the rest of them. So yeah, those are Turnigy's. Now on to the UMX and QX batteries here for E-Flight stuff. This one, I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing it's his 45C battery. And if you heard our unboxing video of the E-Flight charger, you know that it was on fire and it caught a few batteries on fire. This is one of them, and it still works. It's just charred, and it barely even holds a charge though because of how old it is. But that's one of them. That's a 25C. This is also the same thing, but it's not charred. 25C. Doesn't really hold the charge. Actually, this is the only one that holds the charge still, so I better put it back over there so he doesn't forget about it. This is the one that came with his UMX Spacewalker here, 70 mAh, 3.7 volt, 14C battery. Very crap. It's a little tiny thing. It's light, but it doesn't hold the charge very well. And this is the 45C one. It's really bloated. I can squish it barely, but it's all bloated. So that's with those things. And then finally we have this battery, which the label ripped off, but it's a Venom 250 mAh battery. I don't know how many C's are on it. I'm guessing like 15 or 10, because this is what I use in my low C micros. And the other batteries, well, there's a kid across the street there that I'm not going to mention, but he destroyed a few of our batteries that went to the micros because he's a little idiot. But yeah, he didn't even apologize, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. That's what I use for my micro. I also had 3S lipos, but once again, they went bad. And yeah, I'm going to be supplying it with some new zippy batteries for my micros. And yeah, that'll be it for that. So yeah, I am forgetting a few batteries like the 3S zippy in there, but I already kind of explained. But yeah, that's what we use for batteries here at Z.A.K. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you later.